Hey guys, like, comment, subscribe. We're back with number 41 on our top 50 goalies list. We already had Ole the goalie. Now we have Rolly the goalie. We got Dwayne Roloson, 41. Why do we have him here?
We have him here because you had me look at statistics. Um, I'm actually surprised after looking at his career that he didn't end up going a little bit higher. He's had such a fantastic, so many fantastic runs in the playoffs with multiple different teams. He was a guy that teams would trade for to make a run for. And as you mentioned to me before we were doing this list, that he was probably the highest rated goalie on NHL 06. That just goes to show. No, but in all seriously, Olsen has had a really long career, and even though his last year might not have been his greatest, we've kind of seen that with almost every goalie so far we've seen here. And overall, the fact that he was able to put up 930 save percentage years is just amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think off the top of my head, I want to say Brodeur was actually the highest rated on the '06 game. I think Rolly was like a 92, but he was a hard goalie to beat in that game, man. It was a tough one. But yeah, I mean, Minnesota, I believe Roloson had won at Jennings with Manny Fernandez. They were a great duo together. Actually, I might be incorrect about that. It might have been Backstrom and Fernandez, but regardless, their Roloson-Fernandez duo was just as good. Roloson had a couple years early in the 2000s that it was probably two of the best years on this list of anyone. If you combine those 2 years, it's up there with the Patrick Waz in the early 2000s, the Roman Czechmanics, the Dominic Hasiks. Roloson was at that level, but he was one of those goalies that it seemed like the lockout really hurt him, and it kind of brought him out of that rhythm and into a funk because coming out of it, he wasn't the same goalie right away for Minnesota. Even in the regular season for Edmonton when he went there, wasn't the same guy. But in the playoffs, like you said, for Edmonton, that cup run, I know they didn't win the cup, but he took over. And if it wasn't for him suffering that injury in the cup final,
Yep.
Edmonton, they might have a Stanley Cup in the 2000s.
They were very close, right? That was for what probably the best run of any Canadian hockey team in the last 20 years, the closest one. But yeah, no, he just went very, very well deserved. His playoff credibility alone deserves him the spot at least in the top 50. And when you look at those years, you actually were the one that had me go and went compare Rolson's couple of years. I was like, it's dead puck era. Of course, he had really amazing numbers, and you're like, oh, go compare him to Roy. And as much as Hua had maybe slightly better across the 4 years or 3 years across the first little bit, in 02, 03, 03, 04, right before the lockout, Roloson was lights out. He was better than any other goalie in the league pretty much those years.
Yeah, if you combine those 2 years, it's 98 games played, 930 save percentage, I think a 1.95 goals against. And again, that's almost in 100 games played.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you go a step further and you had the lockout year, it's the same because he had a 931 percentage overseas. Again, when he came back, not as good. And the fact that in the regular season as a starter, he was good, but never really that great. Aside from those 2 years, is what hurts him on this list.
Yeah.
But like you said, had his nice cup run with Edmonton, nice playoff run with Tampa. He was a World Cup goalie a couple of times, did solid there too. So overall, Dwayne Roloson definitely deserves a spot in this list. And if he cracked together a couple more solid regular seasons, like early in the 2000s, he definitely would have been higher.
Yeah.
But definitely let us know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you soon with some more content.